Future Scientists, my name's Kaley and I'm back again with another edition of our Future Scientist Storytime. Today we will be reading Professor Clark the Science Shark, Book 3, The Encounter by Scott and Karen Lamberson. If you remember from last time, we left off with a little bit of a cliffhanger, so let's go ahead and jump in.
Professor Clark the Science Shark just couldn't seem to relax since returning to his familiar reef off of the Jupiter, Florida coastline. Night after night, Clark swam back and forth from one reef to another. "You're making me very dizzy," his friend Ray the Remora grumbled as he tried to get comfortable on Clark's broad tiger shark back. Clark knew why he couldn't relax. The coral reefs locally and possibly worldwide were in trouble, and the young science shark needed to discover solutions to fix them before it was too late. As Clark looked around at his aquatic playground, he wondered what could be responsible for the ocean's problems. Could it be that humans are involved with all the reef pollution and neglect? To understand the humans' actions and motives, Professor Clark knew he would need to study humans much closer than ever before. Professor Clark lived on a reef close to Florida's east coast next to the Gulf Stream waters. This ideal location gave him some amazing opportunities to observe the humans while he remained quiet and unseen. Early the next morning, Professor Clark and Ray set off on another seafaring adventure to study man more closely. The two friends didn't have to swim very far before they felt certain vibrations in the water. This could mean only one thing: humans! As the two friends looked from afar, Clark felt both awe and amazement as he studied the clumsy humans and their funny-looking skin. "What odd-looking creatures," he said out loud as he slowly turned and swam away. "They are called scuba divers," Ray explained, trying to catch up to Clark. In the coming days, many divers spotted the tiger shark and remora. The interactions didn't always turn out the way Clark had hoped. Many divers were terrified and swam away. Thankfully, many were also fascinated and marveled at Professor Clark's beauty with respect and awe. Clark and Ray could not understand how anybody could be so frightened by animals they knew so little about. Although he could never be sure which reactions to expect, these encounters helped Professor Clark feel more comfortable studying the humans in their marine environment. But he wanted more. In his heart, he longed to bond with a human. "Ray," Professor Clark said to his friend, "for some strange reason I want to get to know these humans and form a friendship with them. It just might solve the ocean's problems." Ray didn't know what to say, and it took a few moments before he blurted out, "Are you crazy, Clark? This is a bad idea, a really bad idea," Ray shouted as he shook his head. As fate would have it, a young man named Andrew was scuba diving with a couple of friends one morning on Clark and Ray's favorite reef. This was the same human Clark met all those years ago when he was just a little shark pup and Andrew was just a little boy. Andrew had visited the reef on a regular basis, hoping to find his cherished lure. He also had a secret dream of meeting up with the shark pup one day. Professor Clark was also hanging around the reef that morning. He knew there were divers ahead by the electric pulses in the water. Slowly and cautiously, he made his way towards the dark floating objects, only to discover that Andrew was one of those divers. Clark stopped in his fin tracks but didn't know why. His mind was racing wildly. "Can it be?" he asked himself as he swam slowly towards the oncoming divers. Clark could not deny the familiar face. He noticed the boy's eyes and then his lips as they formed a smile that mouthed, "Hi!" Professor Clark knew it! It was Andrew! Clark swam very close to the diver just to make sure, when all of a sudden Clark had a brilliant idea. After one last look at Andrew, Clark took off swimming with poor Ray hanging on, yelling and screaming, "What is going on?" "I have to find that special lure," Clark explained to Ray as he swam quickly to the exact spot where he first met the boy. "There it is," shouted Ray, "hidden in the coral, covered in brown algae and barnacles." So with a gentle pull of Clark's teeth, the cherished lure was freed. Clark placed it softly in his big shark mouth, taking care not to get poked. Clark swam as fast as he could back to the divers. Clark couldn't wait to show Andrew that he found his cherished lure. Professor Clark swam right up to Andrew, displaying the special lure secured in his massive shark jaws. Without hesitation, Clark gently dropped the lure into Andrew's outstretched hand. Andrew couldn't believe it. There it was, his long-lost treasured lure, the sentimental gift from his family. He wanted to give the big, gentle shark a huge hug, but his human instincts reminded him that it probably wasn't a good idea. Instead, Andrew and his friends had the afternoon of a lifetime as they spent the next few hours on the reef in an unforgettable encounter with an extraordinary tiger shark. Clark swam around joyfully as he was beginning to see this was the human bond he was searching for. This encounter would change Professor Clark's life forever. But how? Only time will tell. The end.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. To all the kids out there, let us know what your favorite part of the story was and check out the link for more Professor Clark coloring pages. To all the parents and adult family members out there, let us know what you think in the comment section below and stay tuned to our social media channels for more virtual science and future scientist storytime. Please stay smart and safe, and we'll see you all again next time. Bye!
Hey everybody, Christian here. I want to just thank you for watching our content. If you enjoyed, please make sure you hit that like button down below. Also, as you guys know, we're going through some very tough times, and our hearts at the Science Center goes out to everyone that's been affected by this coronavirus outbreak. And as most of you also know, we are a nonprofit organization. We rely very heavily on live programs as well as admissions in order to keep the Science Center lights on. So because we're not open, we do need your help. If you enjoyed our content, please consider hitting that donate button down below and giving anything you can. $1, $5, any amount will help us continue our mission to open every mind to science.